Hey, what's up everybody? So guess what I am making today? It's different. I haven't seen too many videos on YouTube about this topic. Well, in a way I have. But today we're going to make salted turkey breasts. That's right, salted turkey breasts. Now, I know you've seen salted steak, salted fish, but did you know that you can do a salted turkey breast and that turkey breast will come out so moist? Moist. That's right, moist turkey breast. And to top it off, I'm also going to make a smoked Marsala gravy. That's right, a smoked Marsala gravy, and it is going to be tasty. Now, with the smoked Marsala gravy, you're going to be using your leftover turkey parts after carving the turkey up. All right, so don't throw them away. Never ever throw away the parts of the turkey that you're not going to use. You can make a sauce or a stock or something like that. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, so let's go do this. It's easy. The instructions are down below. Make sure you read them before you do this, okay? Especially for the gravy part, because one of the ways I did it, I made it in the Instant Pot, but I do have instructions for how to do it on the stovetop as well. All right, so let's cook. Let's make some salted turkey breast and some smoked smoky Marsala gravy or masala sauce, whatever you want to call it. All right, let's do this.
All right, it is time to cut this baby up. Remove the thighs, the wings, the drumsticks. Only thing we want to have left for this is the chicken breast. So we're going to cut along the spine, and then after that, we're going to cut it out with some meat scissors. I love my meat scissors. It makes it so much easier to get this turkey dissected. I guess you could say dissected or cut apart. Yeah, so we're going to cut along everything. Make sure to remove the pieces. And if you need to find out how to carve a turkey or cut a turkey up into pieces, then you can probably check out another video on YouTube. I'm not going to go into this part of it because it's fairly simple. You just pretty much pick the part and you cut along it until you're left with the breast. Now, right here, you want to remove that extra skin where the head of the turkey would be at. So now we're going to loosen up some of the skin. We're not going to remove the skin because the skin is going to protect the actual meat itself from getting too much salt on it. So you're just going to gradually lift the skin up. And then after that, you're going to crack that breastbone. So I take a knife because there's some cartilage in there and some bone. So I kind of just put a deep cut in there. I don't go all the way through. And then after that, I take some scissors and I kind of just cut along it, because the ideal of this is to crack the breastbone so that way it moves like this. All right, now we're going to take some olive oil. And the olive oil I'm using is garlic infused olive oil. I smoke my garlic and then I put it in the olive oil so it has that nice flavor. So you're going to want to put the oil on the skin and underneath the skin, straighten that skin out, make sure the whole breast is covered. And then we're going to take some good old kosher salt. Now we're going to be using 10 cups of kosher salt with 6 large egg whites. And we're going to mix it in. And then after that, we're going to start spooning it through. Make sure all of the egg whites are mixed in pretty good. And use your hands too. It works a lot better. Then after that, we're going to take the water, and in this case, I'm using a 1/4 cup of water. Mix it in real good. And you can see the texture starts to change. Then after I mix it in some more, then I'm going to add the 5 tablespoons of water and continue to mix it in. And it starts to turn into like a snow type texture, you know, really, really thick snow. And then when you get to the point that you can make a snowball out of it, or I guess a salt ball out of it, then you know you're at the right texture for the salt. Just like that. All right, now we're going to take a large cast iron skillet and we're going to put some salt in there. And read the instructions below in the comment, not in the comment section, but in the description area to get the full gist of how you do this. All right, so you put the salt mound in there, and you're gonna make sure you wanna have at least 2 inches of space, in between the salt and the edges of the cast iron. And then you start adding in your onions, and you can use shallots too. And then we're going to add some of this thyme, and then we're going to add some of this oregano. I love the way this color looks for some reason, the snow look with the greenery on top. It's beautiful. All right, now we sit the turkey breast on top, and make sure you push it down really, really good, because you want the bottom part of that turkey breast to be immersed or stuffed with the salt. And then after that, we take the rest of the salt and we start building around it. Now, where the neck section is at, there's a big opening. So make sure you pack that in there really, really good, so there's no air circulating through that. And I decided to fast forward this for you because I didn't want to bore you by packing salt. So then you take a skewer, you take the pointy tip, and you stick it into the breast, because that is the part you're going to have to remove when you stick the thermometer in there to check the temperature later on while you're cooking it. And now we pack some more. Looking at the look of this is so different. You'll be surprised at the results. All right, now your leftover parts, your hindquarters, your spine, and your wings, that's going to go onto the smoker for some gravy. And we're also going to be smoking some Mexican green onions, because I love the flavor that these onions have when they're grilled. And the wood that I'm using for this is a mesquite wood. And if you want to use a different, flavor of wood, you can do that too. But in this case, I like the potency of the mesquite. It's not super strong, so I love it. And then just make sure you have your vent set, so that way you can get that smoke circulating. And then when the turkey is done, look at that. The display that you can give with this at the dinner table is amazing. You sit it in front of everybody and they're like, wow, what is that? Then you pull out the good old skewer stick and you get to cracking. So you take a hammer or a wooden spoon and you just start chipping away at it. And everybody's sitting at the table and they're looking and they're like, wow, this is different. I've never had this before. So, good presentation. This makes the meal even better, especially when it tastes good. So you just take some tongs and you start pulling away the pieces, and everybody's looking and they see the steam come out of it, and they're getting hungry and their mouth is watering and they're like, wow, I cannot wait to taste this. So I'm not going to bore you too much by having you watch me remove all of the chunks of salt, but you get the point. You want to uncover this until you get to the breast part. And so you just take a spoon or a brush and you get the rest of the salt out of the way. And then after that, I guess you can take the turkey somewhere or you can carve it on the table. Now, this is important. You want to remove the skin from the turkey. That's right. Because that skin, it definitely tastes like salt. And that is what protects the turkey meat from getting too salty, the skin. All right, so fast forward a little bit, cut off this little last piece, and start cutting into the turkey breast. Now, I'm not carving into the turkey breast the way most people do, because this is for me to present you on how the turkey looks, how it comes out, juicy, tasty, not salty at all. I guarantee you, if you cook it this way, you will be very, very happy at how moist and how juicy and how tasty and how flavorful this turkey breast is. Look at that. All that juice. And I don't know if you can see the steam coming off, but the steam is coming out. And as you can see on the cutting board, all that juice that's coming out of the turkey. Look at that. Beautiful. Tasty. Flavorful. All right, now it is time to make the smoky marsala sauce. All right, so you see I have my smoked wings and hindquarters and the smoked Mexican green onions. And this is so good, you can just eat it by itself. But in this case, that's not what we're doing. We're gonna make some good old Marsala gravy. Look at those onions. It smells so good. And the flavor, excellent. All right, so we're gonna cut the onions up. We're gonna cut up 1 carrot. And all of this is going into an Instant Pot. There's the thyme, and we gotta cut up the celery. Now, like I said, all of this is going into an Instant Pot. If you don't have an Instant Pot, then make sure that you read below to give you the instructions on how to do it on the stovetop. All right, and there you go. The Instant Pot has everything in it. We're gonna add the water. We're gonna add those beautiful smoked turkey wings. Smells so good. And then we're gonna put that lid on, make sure it's locked, and make sure the vent is closed so that way it can get that pressure build in it. And then we cook it. Or I guess you can say, then we steam it. All right, now it's done. So here's the fun part, making the gravy part. So we take the turkey out, and then we get rid of all those vegetables. Now you can keep them too and kind of use them as part of your presentation to make everything look good. And then after that, we pour out the juice and we wait for the juice to cool down. And we take the marsala, take some black peppers. I love black peppers. And then we take the butter, then we take the thyme, and we have that all on standby because all of this is going to work hand in hand. And we're going to use this instant flour. We're going to have 2 separate sides of it. So for the instant flour, what we're going to, it's the Wandra flour is the brand that I use. You're going to have a 1/4 cup and you're going to have 3 tablespoons separated, set aside. So just make sure you have that, okay? All right, now that the broth or the juice has cooled down, we're going to be taking the fat out of it. We're going to be skimming the top of it and we're going to put it into a skillet. And we're going to set that skillet on a medium-high heat. We're going to add the butter, and when the butter melts, then we're ready to move on to the next step. All right, so now that the butter has melted, it's time to add in the Wandra flour. That's going to be the 1/4 cup. And we're going to mix it in. It's going to take about 5 minutes, and it's going to start looking like peanut butter. So just remember, about 5 minutes, medium-high heat. Just make sure you don't burn it. If it gets too hot, turn the temperature down on your skillet. But it's going to turn into, well, like this. Nice little fluffy, fat chunks of peanut butter, I guess you could call it. All right. So now that you put that into a saucepan, you're going to add the Marsala wine. You're going to make sure you mix that in really good because you don't want to have it all chunky. I love this Wandra brand of flour, instant flour, because it makes your gravy so much easier and so much smoother. All right, so you mix that in really, really good. And then you're going to pour in the juices. That's right. Look at it. It's looking beautiful. I say juices, but you can call it a broth or a stock. If you want to be technical about it, it's a stock. So you're going to pour that in really, really good. Get it mixed in. And it's all coming together. Look at it. And then you're going to take that leftover part, that 3 tablespoons of instant flour, and you're going to slowly mix that in. Remember, you do not want this to be chunky. Look at it. Coming along real, real good. And then you're going to add the thyme to it. Then you're going to add the peppercorns to it, the black pepper. Doesn't that look good? And then once it comes up to a nice boil, you're going to make sure that it doesn't get lumpy or super thick. You want the consistency of gravy. If you take the back of a spoon and you drag your finger across the spoon and the gravy doesn't close back up, then you're good to go. Look at that. All right. The Marsala gravy is done. The smoked turkey is done. These are the hindquarters, and look at that. And if you're a hindquarter person, then you just take that and you drizzle some of that good old Marsala gravy on there. I'm saying Marsala gravy, but it's a smoked Marsala gravy, and it has its own unique taste. It's not salty. It just has a nice, smooth taste to it. Look at that. Beautiful. All right, so now this is how that looks. Now it's time to put up a little plate with the good old turkey breast. And for presentation purposes, I'm just laying down some of this gravy first. Then we're gonna lay some of that turkey breast on there. Doesn't that look good? And then you just pour over some of that good old smoky Marsala gravy. Beautiful. Look at it. Add some more peppercorns if you want. You do it up how you want, you know, however you want to present it. But there you go. This is beautiful. This is tasty. Now it's your turn. Go make some.